I have a question, Stuart.
Yes.
As we're doing this work, can you tell me about importance of routine? Is that something we should be conscious of and something that we cultivate as we're doing this work?
Well, as you evolve in this meditation, you become conscious of just about everything you do. You become conscious about, taking care of yourself, the food you eat, the people that you spend your time with. You become conscious about everything because everything around you is really a manifestation of God. And even the negative energy is there to teach you something about yourself. And we as human beings have to get to a place inside ourselves where we truly recognize that we live in a world that's sacred. And when things are sacred, there's respect, there's love, there's compassion, there's caring about other people, caring about yourself. Everything just kind of evolves to a much higher level. And I think that this is really very important because we often, associate with kinds of people in life that really, are endlessly giving us negative energy. And even those people, we learn how to deal with them. We learn how to not allow them to suck our energy out of us, how not to use us as something like some parasite feeding off of us. All of this evolves with the development of your consciousness, with the building of a chakra system. And I would equate consciousness with the building of a chakra system that is strong enough inside you to be connected with spirit. And when you're connected with spirit, everything around you becomes sacred because everything around you is a manifestation of that spirit. And even people that are, not conscious and not negative, and this, you simply learn how to deal with them. You learn how to, first of all, not allow them to, live around you like vampires, sucking all your energy out of you. Secondly, you learn how to find something in them that's also alive, connected to spirit. And you can be, in a sense, grateful to them because of what they are teaching you, certainly about what you shouldn't do in life. And I think all of this is valuable, and all of this is an expression of our consciousness developing inside us. And it also has to do with not being afraid of life. If you're not afraid of life, that really equates with not being afraid of the unknown or death or all of these things that people fear. What I'm talking about is really very important, but it's not something that you can sit down in a notebook and say, today I'm going to do this and this. And life never works out that way. It's something that as you build an inner life, all of these things become organically possible. You have arrived at a place in yourself, in your consciousness, where you do these things automatically, organically. And I can't repeat that enough because there's no way you can, have these resolutions and expect them to work out. They don't. I've never had a resolution of my life work out, other than maybe the one to have a spiritual life, because my need was so strong to do it that it worked out. So what I'm saying is, this is all a manifestation of us building a chakra system inside that is strong enough to be connected with spirit. And then all of these things start taking place. We start valuing life. Even the food we eat takes on a different dimension. The tastes, the smells, what we touch, how we interact with people, all of it takes on a different dimension. And again, it's not something I could sit down with anyone here and say, okay, do this and that and that. That's why I don't do things like that. But I can transmit an enormous amount of Shakti that can help everyone in these classes build a system inside that is strong enough that it allows them to evolve to a much higher place, a much more conscious place in their life. And then that evolution is permanent. It's not, it just comes and then it slips through our fingers. And I think that permanence of inner growth and consciousness is essential. Otherwise, it's this and it's that, and it feels good. And then 10 minutes later, we're depressed and unhappy. And we're still playing this kind of game with ourselves, thinking that we can do this and never attaining it, instead of building an inner life that is truly strong enough to do it, so that ultimately we arrive at a place where our consciousness is of really an elevated nature. And then you can't get upset that you have problems and faults and things wrong and you make mistakes. It's all part of the process. You have patience with yourself. You learn from everything what you have to do to continue an inner life and to grow. And the important thing, I'll repeat it again, is having patience, not beating yourself up because you did something you didn't like. All right, I made a mistake. What did I learn? And all of this, ultimately adds up to a much different way of living in life. I remember when I was younger, I used to smoke a lot, between the age of about 19 and 25. And then, as I was studying with Rudy, this whole energy built that I couldn't even stand to go near cigarettes because I knew they were poisoning my system. I stopped smoking, stopped drinking. I stopped, doing, any kind of drugs that I used to do when I was younger, because I knew that it was going to poison my system. And my system was receiving spiritual energy. That's sacred. And I wasn't going to ingest things into my system that would, destroy that connection I had with spirit. And everything just, rebelled against it, in me. And it certainly was okay. Didn't hurt me any, not doing all those things. And I had friends that I used to go to cocktail parties and friends and oh, you don't drink wine, and I'd look at them slowly getting drunk, their faces getting bloated, they're, starting to slur their words. And I said, do you want me to become like you? I said, no, you're teaching me that this is not a thing I should do. I hope this is clear because this is really important. And what's really important is having patience and allow your system to grow and develop inside so that this whole thing of higher consciousness is an organic outgrowth of the development of a chakra system. Chakras are direct links between all of us and higher energy in the universe. And when we're linked up that way, we respect life as we, wouldn't respect it if we're not linked up that way.
That is clear. Thank you.
You're welcome. Keep working, Laura. You're doing very well. You're so much clearer. It's just really wonderful to see. So keep doing your inner work.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart?
Yes.
In our human experience, we have a time-bound life. And in spirit, there is no linear time. Can you go into that a little more?
Well, the time, what you call the time-bound life, should be a continuous reminder why you have to connect with spirit. Because everything in this world is transient. You know, civilizations are transient. You know, you go to Greece, you go to Rome, you go and you see India, you see ancient civilizations that have come and gone. Everything, you know, is devoured by time. And the only thing that's not devoured by time is the soul. You know, there's two souls, the human soul and then the soul that is infinite in the universe. And our job is to connect the soul within us to that soul which is infinite in the universe, that is not bound by time, that is not being consumed by time. And I think, you know, that's a constant reminder to me that I need to do deep inner work, because everything is transient. People are born, they live, you know. I always repeat it, but I love that thing from Macbeth, you know. I mean, you know, out, brief candle, you know. And that's what it is. It's a brief candle. Life is but a passing, you know, poor player that struts and frets his hour on this thing. You know, a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury. I mean, that passage in Macbeth is one of those brilliant things ever written, because it so defines the transient nature of life, the transient nature of ego, the transient nature of everything we attain in this world. And that's why the attainments in life have to be steps on a ladder that help us get closer to God, to spirit. They can't be ends in themselves, or they become a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing, because time consumes everything. Except the soul of a human being, which will reincarnate and reincarnate until it finally learns that time consumes everything, and they better connect with spirit, which is infinite in the universe.
It's 2:00.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we're given time, which is kind of a paradox, to do this. You know, we're given time, and it depends upon how we use that time. I mean, this can make you crazy if you think about it, you know, but it's really true. So you shouldn't think about it. You just build a chakra system that takes you to a transcendental place. God is love. Love is transcendental. Love, you know, transcends everything. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
I have one more question, Stuart.
Yes, Laura.
I was wondering about the breath, if we should kind of like make it go a certain type of way, or if we should just let it breathe as it is doing.
Just let it happen, Laura. You can't force it to happen. What you have to do is relax inside, quiet your mind, get your mind centered in the chakra below the navel, feel gratitude in your heart. And if you do those three things, the breath will expand the heart center. It'll expand the chakra below the navel. you know, and the breath becomes life that you're taking into you. And the life energy, you know, will expand the chakra system. And then once that chakras are open, then the spirit can come into you. And that will do a better job than the mind, the breath, all, you know, of really developing a system inside you that's connected to higher energy in the universe. So the first thing is to relax. That's why I tell everyone before the class that they should just relax and they should get centered, you know, and then, you know, once you're relaxed and centered, that energy and the chakras are open, that energy comes and it'll really expand the chakra system in a very profound way. But you can't make this happen. You know, it's just, you master the technique. And by mastering the technique, it happens. Spirit comes into you and nurtures you in a very profound way. But part of mastering the technique is learning how to relax inside yourself.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question we'd like to ask? I hope all this is clear. If you need to hear this talk, which I think is a good idea again, you know, Ellie's going to put it on Facebook and YouTube, and you can go there and listen to this. I think this was a very important talk today. And I think it's something that can help people, you know, to understand, not intellectually, but through inner development, what this meditation I teach is really about. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, there'll be a class on Thursday. And again, in all humility, thank you. I mean, I listen to this talk too, you know. I need all of you to be here so that this stuff comes out, the energy, the Shakti manifests, connection with God and spirit. And it's, you know, it's a marriage. It's a marriage on a very high level, the connection between a student and a teacher. And it has, the basis of the marriage is really the need inside both of them to have a connection with spirit. So thank you and bless you all. And there'll be a class on Thursday and I'm looking forward to seeing you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bless you too.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Bye.